بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأراضين أجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف وجعلنا من أعوانه وأنصاره. Alhamdulillah, we are able to have our session tonight, Friday, 9th of February 2018, from holy city of Mashhad. And tonight we are going to study a very important lesson about different universes. In the book, after the discussion about Huduth and Qidam, there is another lesson which we leave it for the time being because it's very detailed and maybe not needed for our course. But if we have time, maybe inshallah, when I come back after I finish the other two lessons, if we have time, inshallah, I will address that as well. But the discussion that we have tonight, which is very important and it helps you a lot in studying philosophy and aqaid and many other subjects, is about different realms or universes, what we call awalim. Alam, which is written like alim, but it's pronounced differently. Alam. And then the plural is awalim. In Arabic language, alam or universe can be used for different types of beings or even different types of genus which are under one system. For example, sometimes you say Alamun Nabatat, the universe of the plants. Alamul Hasharat, the universe of insects. Alamul Haywan, the universe of animals. So sometimes in Arabic you use alam for a specific type of being or a genus which has different types inside, like insects. There are different types of insects. But you can say the universe of ants as well, which is one particular type of insect. Universe of bees. So any type or any general type, genus of being which has one system is called alam. But in philosophy, we have a technical meaning for alam, and the plural is awalim. In philosophy, when we say alam or universe, we mean a being or some beings, either one being or a group of beings that occupy a certain level of existence. As you remember, we said existence has different degrees, different grades, different levels. Yeah? Tashkik al-wujud. We said, according to Mullah Sadra and according to many other philosophers, there are different levels of existence. How they explain the difference, that's according to Mullah Sadra, depending on the degree. According to some, it's because they are totally different type. In any case, there are different degrees, different grades. Alam in philosophy means a being or a group of beings that occupies or occupy a certain degree or grade of existence in the way that embraces what is lower than it, or it's embraced by something which is higher than it, or both. It can be something in middle that embraces what is lower and is embraced by what is higher. If we have three levels. So, alam always means something that embraces or encompasses something lower and is encompassed by something higher, or one of these two. When it comes to identifying different alam, different universe that we have, then philosophers say there are two universes which are certainly there, and we can easily prove them. One is alam tabi'at, the universe of natural beings, material beings. What you can see or touch or smell or hear, anything about our perception, anything which is obvious in the world around us, this belongs to alam tabi'at, the physical world. And this is obvious. Philosophers call this alam nasut, the universe of nasut. Have you heard nasut? So, yes, you find it in many books. They talk about nasut. So, alam nasut is the universe that we are experiencing every day. You see animals, plants, non-living beings. These are all from this universe. There is no doubt about this. The other universe which has no doubt about, no philosopher has any doubt about it, is the universe of uluhiyya, deity, the divine universe, or universe of divinity, whatever you call it. They call it alam lahut. Lahut, even today now in Arabic language, for example, Christian Arabs, if they want to say theology, they say ilmul lahut. If this is, for example, faculty of theology, they say kulliyatul lahut. So lahut is the universe which is the highest, which encompasses everything, gives existence to everything, and runs and manages everything. And as you know, there is only one being which forms alam lahut. The universe of divinity is only one being. That is absolute being. That is necessary being, wajibul wujud. There is no second for it, and there is nothing higher than God. Even there is nothing next to God. let alone being higher. Okay? Ibn Sina, Avicenna, in Ilahiyat of Shifa, in his book Shifa, in the section on Ilahiyat, on theology, he says, Al-alam al-rububi azimun jiddan. Al-alam al-rububi azimun jiddan. The universe of divinity is great, really. It's very great. Indeed, there is no greatness in alam tabi'at. Although in our standard, it's very big, very large. We don't know end of it. But compared to the higher universes, it's very little. The greatest thing is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, Alam al-Lahut, the universe of divinity, is the highest and greatest. Philosophers say we can easily prove the existence of these two universes. The universe of Tabi'ah, Nasut, we see it, we are ourselves part of it. And the universe of Ilahiyat or Lahut or Alam Uluhiyat, it's what we proved. We proved the existence of Wajibul Wujud. So, these two are beyond question. Universe of Nasut and universe of what? Lahut. Okay. Now, there are two questions for philosophers to answer. Is there anything between Alam al-Lahut and Alam al-Nasut? Is there any universe between God and the physical world? The second question is there any universe lower than the physical world? Anything lower than Nasut? So, two universes are definitely there. Nasut and Lahut. And also definitely there is no universe above Lahut. But there remains two questions. Is there any universe between Nasut and Lahut? And is there any universe lower than Nasut? Anything lower than the physical world? First, we give answer to the second question because it's more simple. There is no universe lower than the physical world because the physical world is not able to give existence to anything, cannot create anything ex nihilo, creating not from anything. Because Alam, any universe, encompasses the lower one, means it gives existence to it and it runs it. It's mujed and mudabbir for the lower universe. God gives existence to us and is our Lord who runs and manages our world. But is there any possibility for Alam al-Nasut, the physical world, to create something and run it? No. The physical world cannot give existence to anything. The physical world can only give changes, can only bring some transformation, instant or gradual, haraka or kawn and fasad, as we had before, motion or generation and degeneration, but no creation from, not from anything, not creation ex nihilo. So we don't have anything lower than nasut or alam tabiat or physical world. Another reason for this is because the physical world is the world of potentiality and actuality. What is potentiality and actuality? Qawwa and fail. You remember potentiality and actuality. Something which is potentially another thing and then later actually becomes it. Like an embryo which is potentially a human being. For example, an early embryo without a spirit is not still a human being, but potentially human being. And then actually it becomes human being when the soul is created. So the universe of Nasut is the world of potentiality and actuality, is the universe of Madde and Surah, matter and form, is the universe of motion and time and space. So what can be lower than this? What can be lower than having potentiality and not all the time actuality? What is lower than being a combination of matter and form? What is lower than being limited to time and space? What is limited than being in change and motion? So there is nothing lower than alam nasut. So only one question remains. What's the question? Is there any universe between alam nasut and alam lahut? Between God and the physical world? So this is the main question. And this question is very difficult to answer philosophically. As we will explain later, the best way to understand this is to refer to revelation, or if you could have mystical vision or experience or intuitive knowledge. It's very difficult to prove it philosophically, although many Muslim philosophers and non-Muslim philosophers have attempted, and we will refer to the results of their attempts. But the safest and firmest understanding comes from revelation. Inshallah, we will talk about it. So, many philosophers have said that because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who forms alam lahut, is simple. From every aspect he is simple. Basitun min jami'il jahat. He has no parts, even no intellectual parts, like being a mixture or combination of wujud and mahiyya. God is not even something which is wujud and mahiyya. Although wujud and mahiyya only in our mind are separate. But God even in our mind is simple, absolutely simple. So philosophers have many times used this simplicity, this besatat of God, and said what can be directly issued or created by God cannot be the physical world, because the physical world is too diverse, is too differentiated, and too weak to be directly created by God and run and managed by God. So they say the first creature, you might have heard this terminology, Sadr Awwal, the first thing which is issued from God, the first thing which is created by God, has to be much more simple and much more perfect than the physical world. Of course, because it is created, it has mahiyya. Because any mumkinul wujud, any creature is mumkinul wujud, and any mumkinul wujud has mahiyya. But it doesn't have potentiality. It doesn't have matter. It doesn't have time and space. It is mujarrad. It is abstract. And that is the only thing that suits creation of God in the first place. They call this aql, or intellect. Aql, or intellect. And they call this universe Alam Jabarut. Alam Jabarut, the universe of Jabarut. That is the universe of abstract creatures. This is the universe of intellect or intellects. Alam Uqul, or Alam Aql. Yes.
Is this to do with the Maqulat al-Ashar, like the 10 intelligibles that is discussed above?
No, that's Maqulat. That's not Ma'qul.
Maqulat.
Maqulat is different from Aql. Maqulat is ma yuqalu fi jawab ma hu. So those maqulat are different from this, but in those maqulat, if you remember, one was Jawhar. In Jawhar substance, we had 5 types. One was aql, one was nafs, one was jism, one was madda, one was surah. That aql is the aql that we are talking about now. This is different from human intellect, although we will say they are related, but it's different, not the same. These are beings which are much higher than us. Okay? So, philosophers believe that between Alam Lahut and Alam Nasut, at least there is one universe, which is the universe of Aql or Uqul. I say at least one because we will say that some argue, and we religiously agree, that there is another universe between Alam Uqul and Alam Nasut. Inshallah, we will talk about it. But first, let's clarify the issue with Alam Uqul. They call this universe Alam Jabarut. One more argument for philosophers to believe in this universe of Uqul is a famous rule that sometimes in aqaid and philosophy I have referred to. The rule of Imkan Ashraf. This qaida or rule of Imkan Ashraf is very important. It needs discussion. But briefly, it means in the same way that if you have a waterfall, when water comes down, it cannot jump and bypass 1 degree. From the top of the mountain, when waterfall starts, up to the bottom of the waterfall, there are many, many different degrees. And this water must go through all the degrees. There is no bypass. There is no tafra. Tafra means to bypass, to jump over. Is it clear? For example, if this is 1,000 meters, water should go to every inch of this 1,000 meter and come down. It cannot go from 1,000 to 900 directly, or from 900 to 500 directly by bypassing between these two. Is it clear? So in the same way, they say existence, when comes from God down to the lowest creatures, it's like a waterfall. God is the top, God is the highest, and from there existence comes down. Existence cannot come down by bypassing some degrees. So we see there is a big difference between the physical world and God. And we can conceive of many levels between the physical world and God. So all the different levels must be occupied. There must be beings put in these levels, created in these ranks. So definitely anything which is possible to be between God and us must be there. It doesn't make sense that God bypasses certain levels and goes down. Why he didn't create something which could be better or greater or higher than us? So they say in the world of creation there must be one or more universes lower than God and higher than the physical world. They also sometimes use another argument, and that is to draw the attention to humanity or human beings. In human beings, we have different levels, and similar to that, in the universe of creation, we must have different levels. Inshallah, I come back to this when we talk about Alam Mithal. So please keep this in mind. I come back to this like book. In the book also, this is left for when we talk about Alam Mithal. So far we mentioned some arguments by Muslim philosophers to say that between this world and Alam Lahut, there must be another universe. Now the question is, how many? We accepted that there is a universe in between, but how many? Is there one aql or more than one aql? And then if we accept there is more than one intellect, are they next to each other, the same level? Or there is a hierarchy among them? Or some are next to each other in the same level and some are in hierarchical order? I repeat, after we accept that there is universe of uqul, then the question is, how many? Is there one aql, and under that it's the physical world, or there are more than one? And if we say there are more than one, are those intellects in the same level or in hierarchical order, or some might be hierarchical, some in the same level? Okay? So are they tuli or ardi or both? Tuli means hierarchical. Ardi means the same level, horizontal. Both means both vertical or hierarchical and horizontal. Many philosophers have tried arguments to prove the number and the type of relation that these uqul have, but they are not agreed on. So there is no consensus here. For example, Mashha'un, Peripatetic philosophers, Muslim philosophers who are in the same school as Aristotle. But of course they have developed it further, but in principle they agree with Aristotle, like Ibn Sina, like Farabi, Bahmanyar. They believed in 10 intellect. You must have heard uqul ashara, 10 intellects. Under God is aql awwal, the first intellect, which is sadira awwal, the first thing created by God. Under aql awwal is aql dovum, aql thani, second intellect, which is created by aql awwal, by the first intellect. Under the second intellect is the third, up to the last one, which is the 10th, which we call it also aql fa'al. Aql fa'al, or active intellect, for Ibn Sina and people like him, is the one who is nearer to us than any other uqul, is the lowest and therefore nearest to us. Aql fa'al, the active intellect, the 10th, is responsible for the physical world. It gives everything to the physical world. So what comes down from God goes through these intellects, and then through the last one, the 10th, is distributed in the physical world. All these 10 uqul are mujarrad. No time, no space, no potentiality, no matter. But the last one creates and manages something which has potentiality and time and space and limits. Mashha'un were very interested and impressed by the old understanding of the skies and aflak. In the past, there was an idea by what we call, the person we call Bathlamius, and he had the idea that there are different skies, ethereal beings, and each of them they then connected to these uqul. We don't discuss about it because it seems no longer accepted, or at least it's questionable. And based on the modern understanding of the physical world and philosophy, it seems something controversial, at least, although some people reject it, but I at least say it's controversial. So the Peripatetic philosophers believed in 10 uqul, and then they related them to some of these aflaq. We will leave the aflaq side of it for your further study if you are interested. The main thing is these 10 intellects. They are all hierarchical. Eshraqiyun. Yes.
If you can whack quite a Nasruddin Tusi, so that the philosophers refuse the idea of 10 intellects?
Yes. I am saying. Eshraqiyun, illuminationist philosophers, and among Mashhad, people like Khaja Nasiruddin Tusi. Khaja Nasir in principle is Mashai, but in this issue he disagreed with Ibn Sina and he got closer to Eshraqiyun, like Sheikh Eshraq. They believe in uqul, but they don't believe that there are 10 and they are all vertical or hierarchical. According to them, uqul are arzi, horizontal, in the same level. Of course, this is especially about Eshraqiyun that I want to explain. Eshraqiyun, as you know, are closer to Plato than Aristotle. Mashhad are closer to Aristotle. Eshraqiyun follow the main principles of Plato. Plato had an idea which is known among Muslim philosophers by Nazariyatul Muthul. Muthul, the plural for mithal, ideas. In Greek, eidos is idea in English. And what Plato meant by eidos, or what Eshraqiyun believe by mithal, is that for every being, every type of being, every noah, there is a prototype in the universe of uqul, which is kulli. For example, there is idea or prototype, or it's better to say archetype, for horse, which is universal. That horse never can be found in the nature, in the physical world. That's the ideal horse. That's when we say ideal, means comes from idea. I mean that one in the top, which is universal. There is an idea for every type of being that you can see in the physical world. So Eshraqiyun, they say there are many intellects, but they are not hierarchical. Please remember this important point. According to philosophers, beings in the physical world, they are in the same order or the same universe. Although you find different types of being. For example, you have non-living beings, you have plants, you have animals, you have human beings. They have different degrees of existence, different degrees of perfection, but none of them encompasses the other. None of them gives existence to the other. They belong to the same universe. They are under one system. Is it clear? So they are arzi. They are horizontal. Although some of them may be going higher, but they are rooted in, like you have different trees, some higher than the others, but they are from the same land. In the same way, Ishraqiyun had the idea that uqul are also the same. Uqul are also arzi. The idea for horse, the idea for cow, the idea for insects, for plants, for water, the ideas are the same level. So uqul are arzi for them. And not just 10. So, both groups, Mashhad and Ishraqiyun, believed in a universe lower than God, higher than Nasut. And that is Alam Uqul or Alam Jabarut. The author says, as a matter of fact, it seems that philosophers' hands are not very open in this discussion. Of course, they try to bring arguments, but he says it seems that, especially for Mashhad, it's very difficult. For Ishraqiyun, it's easier. But the best situation belongs to Orafa, mystics. Because this is an issue that for simple and pure intellectual approach, finding answer is very difficult, if possible. Either we should rely on revelation and learn from revelation whether something lower than God and higher than us exists or not. Or we should use mystical experience like Ishraqiyun and like transcendent philosophy. Both take into account findings of mystics and intuitive knowledge. So, what we understand and can agree with philosophers, but we get it from the Quran, is yes, there is a universe lower than God, higher than us. And the Quran refers to this universe. Angels, al-malaika, seem to belong to this universe. According to the Quran, the angels are media. Media is the plural for medium, means something which occurs between two things. So they are media between God and this world. They are responsible for bringing revelation down to this world, bringing knowledge, bringing rizq, sustenance down, media for creation, for giving life or taking away life. For example, God takes life. Allahu yatawaffal anfus hina mauta. But at the same time, there is the angel, archangel, who is responsible for that, which is Israel, who is responsible. قُلْ يَتَوَفَّاكُمْ مَلَكُ الْمَوْتِ الَّذِي وُكِّلَ بِكُمْ. And then under Malakul Maut, we have angels who are helpers. الَّذِي تَوَفَّتْهُ رُسُلُنَا. الذين يتوفاهم الملائكة ظالمي أنفسهم قالوا فيما كنتم. We had it in Divine Justice. قالوا كنا مستضعفين في الأرض. So Allah takes away the life, but at the same time under God there is Malakul Maut, the angel responsible for this, and has also allies and agents. So we understand from the Quran that there is indeed another universe higher than us, lower than Alam Lahut, which is Alam Mujarradat, like angels. The book also makes a very good point in Akhlaq series. When we talked about nearness to God, we mentioned this. Also before, when we were talking about relations, we talked about this. Angels are nearer to God compared to us. But it's not that they are nearer to us than God. Do you understand? Although they occur between us and God, and they are closer to God, but they don't make a barrier between God and us. God is nearer to us than angels, but angels are nearer to God compared to us. We said in the physical relations, when A is near B, B is also near A. But in the spiritual and intellectual relation, A can be close to B and B be far from A. God is close to everyone and everything because He is their creator and sustainer. He is closer to us than our jugular vein. Huwa ma'akum ayna ma kuntum. He is with you wherever you are, but we are not with Him. We can never be with Him because we can never be His level. We can get closer to Him till we become indallah or ladallah and not ma'allah. He is with us. Huwa ma'akum. Inna ma'iya rabbi sayahdin, as Musa alayhi salam said. But we cannot say, I am ma'allah. We try to get nearer and nearer, and then if you are muqarrab, means you are brought nearer, but not ma'allah. Not at the same level. So, please remember, when we say angels belong to the universe which is between us and God, it doesn't mean that God is far from us. It's just a matter of how we receive rizq or knowledge or revelation or other things. Then the book says, according to Ishraqiyun, illuminationist philosophers, and Urafa, mystics, which is also agreeable by the Quran and Hadith, is that still we have one more universe. Mashha'iyun don't say this. Therefore, when we discussed Jawhar, we had aql, nafs, jism, madde, and surah. No mithal. They didn't mention mithal. But according to Ishraqiyun and mystics, and it can be also understood from the Quran and Hadith, we have another universe which is lower than Alam Jabarut, the universe of the angels and Mujarradat, but higher than the physical world. It is called Alam Malakut. It is called Alam Mithal, in the sense that it has no quwwah, no potentiality, no time, no space, no matter, but it has dimensions. It has quantity. Like, for example, when you see a person in dream, when you see someone in dream, it doesn't occupy space, but it has shape and measure. So, Alam Mithal is a universe in which we have things which are not totally abstract, but still they are not also physical like us. In between. Now, let me go back to what I promised. We said we will talk about comparison between these three universes and three levels in human beings. You know, there is a common idea among philosophers and mystics that the whole universe is somehow like human beings. Even sometimes they say human beings are greater universe. It's Alam Akbar. Certainly with respect to the physical world, yes, we are greater than physical world. Because in human beings we have three levels. It's very interesting. You know, like three universes under God. Under God, we have Alam Tabi'at, which is Nasut. Then we have Alam Mithal, which is Malakut. Alam Uqul, which is Jabarut. So, physical world, Alam Mithal, Alam Uqul. They say in human beings we have also three levels. Jism, our body. To which universe our body belongs? The physical world. Alam Tabi'at. Our body belongs to this world. But then we have a faculty that helps us to perceive and imagine. We have His and Khayal. We can understand things which we see or touch or whatever. We can also remember them by referring to our memory, and we can also make kind of Photoshop. For example, a human being with 7 heads. It's khayal, it's imagination. So Photoshop is learned and they are inspired by what our mind is doing. That we can put images next to each other or change them. Change the color, change the size, change the shape. So we have Quvvaya His and Khayal that you don't find it in physical world. Our body is in the physical world, but our faculty responsible for perception and imagination belongs to the universe higher than this, which is alam mithal, the same universe that dreams are there, or for example, the souls in barzakh. Then we have our aql. We understand things which are totally abstract, completely universal. That resembles or belongs to universe of uqul, alam jabarut, the intellects. Tabi'ah, the physical world, cannot give existence to anything higher than itself. Do you agree? So definitely our aql and khayal and his cannot be from tabi'ah. They belong to higher realms of reality or existence. Therefore, as a conclusion, we say philosophers agree on two universes. Universe of Nasut, the physical world, and universe of Lahut, the universe of divinity and God. They also agree that there is nothing higher than Alam Lahut and nothing lower than Alam Tabi'at. The question is there anything between the two? The answer is yes. But then they differ on how many. Mashhad say only Alam Ughul. Ishraqiyun say Alam Ughul and Alam Mithal. Urafa also say Alam Ughul and Alam Mithal. Quran and Hadith also suggest the same thing. But then Alam Ughul for Mashhad is hierarchical, 10 intellects. For Ishraqiyun is horizontal. What we understand from the Quran and Hadith is, at least we can say, there are angels who belong to that world. Then Alam Mithal, Mashhad don't believe in that, or they didn't reach that point. Ishraqiyun believe in that, Urafa believe in that, because mystical experiences also show, and the Quran and Hadith also talk about barzakh, about our ability to be in a world which is not physical, but not also like angels. You see a human being in dream. It's not like an angel, but has no 3 dimension, doesn't occupy a space. It's not a physical object. It has the shape and size like a human being. The portion, for example, that the head or neck or hand has is the same as a living person. So you remember that this is the same person. But you cannot touch it. You cannot press it or hold the hand of a dead person. Of course, in the dream, maybe you hold the hand, but that is also your mithali body. With your physical body, you cannot hold on a dead person, a spirit or soul. You understand? So, this is a very good discussion. I think this lesson is very helpful. It really expands your understanding of the world, of the creation, and gives you the terminology of Lahut, Jabarut, Malakut, Nasut, Ughul Ashare, and all these things. So, inshallah, next week, bi'idhnillah, we will have the last 2 lessons of the book, and if I have time, I may refer to the previous lesson. If not, we leave it for another level, inshallah. And then after that, inshallah, we start Bidayatul Hikmah. So maybe on Wednesday, when we have divine justice, we can finish philosophy, and then from Friday, inshallah, we start Bidayatul Hikmah. Is it okay? Or some people may not come on Wednesday. Is anyone coming today, comes on Wednesday? Pardon?
It should be okay, inshallah.
Inshallah. So inshallah on Wednesday we will finish this book, bi'idhnillah, and then we start Bidayatul Hikmah, inshallah. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin.
Sheikh, one question.